Welcome to Nosy Heffer News Network, the newscast for anyone who's tired of Canadian elections being confusing on purpose. My name is Vivian Kay. I'm your head nosy heifer in charge. And today we're breaking down how Canadian elections actually work. Because if you don't understand the system, it's probably doing exactly what it was designed to do. Now, this isn't just any old regular election. It is going to be one of the most important votes of our generation. Healthcare, climate, human rights, democracy, everything is on the table. And the decisions that we make now will shape this country for years to come. And for the political science heifers, please. This isn't some deep political dive. It's a 101, okay? Just enough for the people them to make sense of the system and their role in it so they can go and vote, okay? Got it? Good. Here's what I'm covering. Why you don't vote directly for the Prime Minister, how your writing impacts the national result, the difference between majority and minority governments, what happens if a party leader loses their seat, what strategic voting actually means, and what you need to know before you show up to vote. So get in, butter tarts. We're making Canadian politics make sense. Let's clear up the biggest election myth. We don't vote for the Prime Minister. We never have. You vote for a local candidate to become your next member of parliament or your MP. That's the person responsible for speaking up for your community in Ottawa, raising issues that matter locally, and voting on national laws that affect everything from healthcare to housing. There are 338 MPs across Canada. Together, they make up the House of Commons, which is where the laws are debated, budgets are decided, and the direction of the country is shaped. And here's how power is decided. The party that wins the most seats in the House of Commons usually forms the government, and their leader, they become Prime Minister. We use a voting system called first past the post. Basically, whoever gets the most votes in your area wins, even if they get only 34%. So when you mark your X, you're choosing the person who will represent you, not voting directly for the party leader. Got it? Good. And this system, it can seriously twist the results. A party can win a majority government with less than 40% of the national vote. Another party can get millions of votes, but barely any seats if their support is spread too thin. In 2019, the Liberals won with just 33% of the vote. And because of this, their votes are translated into more seats. So yes, every vote counts. But where you vote can change how much it counts. When you vote, you're choosing one person to represent your riding in Parliament. That person becomes your MP, and your riding becomes one piece of a national puzzle. The more seats a party wins, the more power they have to form a government. And the more seats a party holds, the more power it has to pass laws, shape the national budget, set policies that ripple into your daily life, like how much federal support your province gets for housing, whether we move towards national pharmacare, or what kind of grants are available to small businesses. This is how the government actually works in Canada. Shout out to Spruce Grove, Alberta, who created this graphic because they must have been sick and tired of you heifers not knowing what branch of government does what. So, for example, in 2021, Port Moody Coquitlam was decided by just 339 votes. Dozens of other ridings were just as close. These are called swing ridings, and they can flip the entire election. So if you've ever felt like your vote doesn't matter, let that sink in. Let's talk about majority versus minority governments. The magic number is 170 seats. If a party wins 170 or more, they get a majority government, which means they can pass laws without needing to talk to the other people. If no party reaches 170, we get a minority government, meaning the ruling party has to negotiate to get anything done. Minority governments are less stable. If they lose a confidence vote, basically a test to see if Parliament still trusts them, it can trigger another election. That's why it feels like we're voting like every 2 years, because we are. Okay, so check this drama. Even party leaders have to win their own ridings. So if their party wins big, but the leader loses at their own race, oh Lord, it's a political mess. You can't be prime minister if you're not an MP. So what happens then? They might have to run in a different riding through a by-election, or the party might have to push for a leadership review. Either way, it's awkward. Back in 93, Kim Campbell lost her seat that way while she was serving as prime minister, and her party was crushed, and her leadership ended soon after. So yeah, your vote could block somebody from being prime minister. Now, in part 3, I'm going to get into how to vote strategically in a system designed to do confusion and divide us, and what you need to know before you show up to cast your ballot. Because, friends, this isn't another election. It's a turning point. And whether we move forward or fall in line behind the chaos depends on what we do next. Now, in this part, I'm walking you through strategic voting, what it actually is, and how to approach it without getting played, and what you need to know before you show up to vote. Because listen, whether you consider yourself a political person or not, you still live here. And this time, our sovereignty is on the line. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Do you want a prime minister who leads for Canada or a governor of the 51st state of the United States? Your vote this time isn't just a civic duty. It's a line in the sand. So let's get into it. Listen, in a perfect world, you'd vote for the candidate who inspires you, the one who fully aligns with your values. But under Canada's first past the post system, that candidate doesn't always have a real shot. That's where strategic voting comes in. Strategic voting means casting your ballot for the candidate most likely to beat the party you don't want in power, even if they're not your first choice. And it's not about giving up your values, it's about making your ballot work harder in a flawed system. Some people might call it selling out, while others see it as survival. If your priority is to block a specific party or policy, strategic voting might be your best move. But here's the critical part. Strategic voting depends on polling data, and the polling data can be wrong. Sites like smartvoting.ca are everywhere right now. While they can be helpful, please do not take them as the Bible. Ask questions like who's behind it? What's their agenda? Where is their data coming from and how recent is it? Are they transparent about how they make their recommendations? Basically, what I'm trying to say is don't outsource your decision making to one source. Cross-check multiple polls, look at local reporting. Check past election results in your riding, and most importantly, vote in a way that feels right for you. But let's be real. We don't have the luxury of vibes and slogans right now, eh? I mean, one candidate is a globally respected PhD economist who's run the Bank of Canada and Bank of England. The other one is a 20-year career politician who spent most of his time smearing opponents, trashing Canada, and dodging security clearance. I don't know about you, but I'm in the mood for leadership, not theatrics. Okay, so now you know about the who, the what, the where, and the why. Here's the how. Here's what you need to know before you actually vote physically. Now, to be eligible to vote, you must be a Canadian citizen. You must be 18. on the day of the election, and you have to be registered in your riding. If you are a permanent resident, an international student, or any other visa holder, you cannot vote in this federal election. It doesn't matter what you heard or what you saw in the WhatsApp group. You can't do it. You are not a Canadian citizen. So your first step, if you're not registered, you need to register to vote at elections.ca. It literally takes 5 minutes. Do it now. Number 2, what to bring with you. You need to bring something that proves who you are and where you live. That could be your driver's license or a utility bill plus your health card. If you don't have ID, someone from your riding can vouch for you, but one person can only vouch for one other voter, so don't make it a thing. Visit elections.ca for more details. Number 3, you don't have to wait to vote on April 28th. You can vote right now, in advance or by mail. Pick whatever works for your life. Again, go to elections.ca for more details. All done. And it literally took me 5 minutes to do. Number 4, if your riding currently only shows 1 or 2 candidates right now, don't panic. Candidate registration stays open until 21 days before the election. Today is April 1st, so they have another week to get their name in if they want to run. Number 5, watch out for the disinformation. If you see wild claims like, oh, there's permanent residents voting, or the election's canceled, or you don't need to check ID, don't listen to that. Check elections.ca, not social media. Number 6, your ballot for advanced voting and day of voting is so simple. 1 X beside the name of your local candidate. Their party will be listed. Remember, you're voting for your local MP, not the party leader. And every ballot counts, but only if you cast it. Friends, this election isn't about picking a party or about politics even. It's not about slogans or who owned who or who won a debate. It's about who we trust to lead us through global instability, economic pressure, and the rise of extremism. It's about the kind of country we want to live in and leave behind. It's about making sure our kids grow up in a country where human rights aren't up for debate, where leadership means something, where we don't have to brace for impact every time the news drops. I get it. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you feel like your vote doesn't change anything, but that's exactly what they want. Whether you're fired up or feeling fed up, doing nothing is still a choice. They are counting on our exhaustion. They are counting on us to sit this one out. So you know what? We're not going to give them that satisfaction. We're not going to give them that. So here's your job, Butter Tart. Check for your registration. Make sure you're registered. Know what's happening in your riding, who you're going to vote for. Vote like your future, your children's future, your grandchildren's future depends on this. Because you know what? It does. This has been NHNN, making sense of the nonsense. Okay, thanks. Bye.